up, YouTube? Erod212 here with my latest haul video. This is going to be my New York Comic Con haul, and what a haul it was. Just had an amazing time. You know, I was on with the Warriors last night. We talked about a lot of the fun stuff that we had, but it's time to show you guys exactly, you know, all the great finds that we had there, all the line waiting. It was all worth it. There was a lot of good stuff out there to be found. A lot of great artists there. You know, the lineup there is phenomenal. And just some really nice stuff, some great adventures that we had together. That's the best way to put it. Midtown Comics did something this year that they haven't done before, and that's they had exclusive artists at their booth signing throughout the day, every day. And the artists they had there, they had Francisco Mattina, they had Joe Jusko, and they had Mark Bagley. So got Mr. Bagley to sign this. Really nice, amazing Spider-Man variant. The whole thing with them was you had to buy one of their books to get into the signing, but then you can get 2 of your items signed for free. So well worth it in my opinion, and it came with their COA. So if it was a book that I wasn't going to send out to CGC or CBCS, you know, at least I had a nice little COA. A nice artist there that I picked up on the last day of the con. And a super nice guy, I got to talk to him a little bit, was Javier Garon, one of the young guns from Marvel. And he signed this copy of my Amazing Spider-Man, which I really actually like this cover a lot. Another artist there, nice Italian artist, I believe it is, which just does some amazing work, was Luciano Perillo. And I was able to pick this up from KRS Comics. And they had a really nice deal where if you bought 2 variants, 1 was free type of deal. So I picked this up, and Perillo signed it along the side there for me. He signed it in silver, so it's kind of tough to see, but came out really nice. Somebody I visit every year when I go down there now is Natalie Sanders. And this book was gifted to me by Amazing Murphinator. And I went ahead and got it signed. It looks really nice. Her signature placement is beautiful. Another artist who I was watching her do watercolors there, and she just did some amazing work, was Stephanie Hans. You know, just super nice person. If you're into autographs and you not only slabbing, but if you like collecting books that are signed, I mean, people like Stephanie Hans, who are still free, or Natalie Sanders, who are like $5, you know, very well worth it. You know, easy and accessible to get to. As part of that Midtown signings, I also got this done. Deathstroke number 33. I got that. Love that cover. So I got Mattina to sign that for me. And just in time for New York City Comic Con was this one. Deathstroke 36. Signed by Mattina. Probably one of Mattina's best covers. I mean, I love the way he did all his villains. Great Mattina rendition. I loved it so much that I got 2 of them signed. Amazing. You know, I was walking around with the Joker M21, and he actually was going to get something signed by Warren Lau. And then started looking at the books, and that's when I found out they had a deal there. And so I picked this beauty up there for Batman 50, Warren Lau's variant for KRS there. And also, he did a great Wonder Woman, which I really liked. So I picked that up also. First day of the con, it's part of my, it's become a yearly thing now. I usually go and I buy a print from this artist and then get a couple of signatures. Last year he was doing, if you bought a print, you got your signatures free. This year you got 1 free, and every other additional was $5 a piece, unless you waited on his line and then during the time he signed. But he only signs for 1 hour a day. So imagine New York Comic Con, 1 hour for an artist, and that was it. The line's got to get crazy. So for $5, I got Stanley Archer Mlau to sign that beauty right there. I got that one signed. I got this, which I love. Just love that. And I got my Batgirl. This will be my second one in this, signed by Mr. Lau. Archer's just a really nice guy. You know, really, really nice stuff there. During the con, I had a really, really nice moment. I have a friend of mine, a co-worker, a former co-worker, who just a superhuman being, really good guy. Found out I was into comics through my Instagram page, and reached out to me and asked me if I knew a certain artist. I said I did. He asked me if I wanted something from that person. I said, you know, you don't have to do that. It would be appreciated. And he said, I'll see what I could do. You know, so we move along. The con comes. That Thursday, he calls me up. And he goes, hey, he's there Saturday, but he's there right now. Go down there. But I was in the middle of getting some books signed by Clayton Crane. So I told him I couldn't go down. He goes, all right, he left something there for you, so go down. So I go downstairs, and I go to the guy's art rep. And, you know, introduce myself. Tell him I was told there was something waiting for me. He asked me if I knew what it was. I told him I didn't. So he looked up my name, and he goes, oh, you're really going to like this. And this is what my boy got done for me. And I appreciate it forever. But take a look at that. He got Adam Kubert to draw my favorite character, Wolverine, for me. And, you know, it's personalized to me, which is awesome. I really, really appreciate everything. You know, just the time and thought of this being done for me was super. So, very, very grateful for this. Humbled by it because, you know, there's a whole backdrop of story behind everything. And this guy's just a really good guy. And I want to say thank you. So because I didn't get to see Mr. Kubert on Thursday, I went back on Saturday when he was doing the signing. And I got to talk to him for about 15 minutes. And it was pretty funny because we were chatting away, and I was kind of holding up the line, which I never do. And Manny NYCC was like, hey, let's get moving. People want to go. You're holding up the line. So, you know, my son was there, and Joker was there. There were a bunch of the Warriors, and, you know, a couple of our other friends were there. So, but I did get a couple of books signed by Mr. Kubert. I got this, which I just love this cover. I got him to sign that. And then, this is probably one of my favorite Adam Kubert, if not my all-time favorite. I love that rendition of X-23. Lollipop in the mouth. You know, it's a homage to Wolverine. Just beautiful cover. So, that was a really, really special fan interaction there. Chris Claremont. I was able to get Chris Claremont to sign this film for me. Really happy with that. As I said, I went to Clayton Crane. Some books I submitted through CGC. My man Mike Murphy gifted me this book. I got this beauty signed in red. I'll tell you one thing. Clayton Crane knows, he's a definite, like, true artist. I mean, he knows placement and color combinations. You know, he has all of his paint pens lined up, and he looks at the cover, and he was actually like, oh, well, you know, I'll show you what I mean. So I got this Stranger Things signed by him, and he was pointing out how there's just the slightest of greens on the side that would, you know, pop really well with this. And so he painted it with a green paint pen. You know, it went really nice. And then he did this Thanos Legacy for me in orange right there. Talking about gifting, next book was a really nice act from probably one of the nicest guys on the NY Warrior, and that's Joker M21. We were all bullshitting, and they were talking about how the DC Universe, he gave me this. But DC was giving these out if you had a membership to their streaming service, which I do not. And this is the gold foiled cover of Robin from Titans. I really like the cover. And Mike, out of the kindness of his heart, just went in his bag, pulled it out, and just gave it to me. You know, I really appreciate that. It was really, really nice of him. At the booth that had Luciano Perillo, they had this beautiful Red Sonja. I wouldn't know about this book if it wasn't for Tom Ryan, who reached out to me and let me know about this book. So shout out to Tom Ryan. You know, really, really nice book. Yours is in the mail, Tom. All right. Then, being that I was at Crane's booth, wasn't going to do it, but I just couldn't help myself. And he had a commission list there where he was doing small head sketches on your books and everything else. And everybody knows I've been working on this Amazing Spider-Man for a while now, and I got Crane to do the anti-venom on there, and it just came out spectacular. Everybody that saw it loved it. You know, he took his time. He was actually really cool with this stuff, and that came out really, really nice. I thought that was a nice book. Book that caught me by surprise. I found this in the Marvel store. I was buying something else, and I came across this black and white with just that slight color on the Infinity Gauntlet for Thanos. Really nice book. I was able to get 2 copies of it, so really, really happy to get that. Then probably one of the better, not better, but big signings that we went to. Manny NYC and I went to Alex Ross, Jeff Johnson, and Marky went to his Barnes & Noble signing. Manny and I being at the con, he was also doing a signing at a location, a satellite location right off from New York Comic Con. So we went over there and got online early. We were about maybe the first 20 people online. Got into the event, and he was still signing for the previous event because they had a panel session. You could either pay for the panel and then get your book signed, or you could just go for the autographing. So Manny and I, we actually just went for the autograph, and you got that Marvelocity book, which is gorgeous. I don't have it, I left it upstairs. And you were able to get 1 item signed. I, of course, brought 2. Manny was able to get 3. And he signed multiples for people, which was really, really nice. But while we were sitting there waiting, we observed this guy talking to the one of the attendants there and telling him that his girlfriend was trying to get in, and they told him she's turned out. If she's not in here right now, we turned her out. We turned down 150 people. So 150 people that went to get this man's autograph, and he's got a really nice sig. Got turned away after they had paid. That's insane. I mean, I was so happy. Me and Manny just looked at each other. We were really happy that we got our stuff. And I also got that right there. This one here has some scuffings in the back, but I'm probably still going to grade it out just because it's an artist that I didn't have in my collection that I really, really want to have in my collection. Day 1 of the con, and I'm jumping back and forth, but day 1 of the con, I had one artist in mind that I wanted to get because I know it's one of his favorite characters and he draws it well. So I went up to Ken Lashley's line, and Ken Lashley's always a super nice guy. And I've been working on his jam piece, and I think I've shown you guys this. But I had Billy Tucci drawing Phoenix on there, and Creasley, he did the Cyclops, and he did the layout. And then I was able to get Ken Lashley to do Colossus on there. So 3 characters done. Probably at East Coast I'll do another character, maybe 2. And this jam is coming out just magnificent. I love it. Love it. So, just a super nice piece. You know, I didn't get this back until the Friday during the con. I dropped it off on a Thursday. By Friday, Mr. Lashley was done. So it was all good. It was really cool. Hot book. Probably one of the hottest besides the foils. I left my foils upstairs. But everybody's seen them. That Harley Quinn foil was probably the hottest foil. That thing sold out by Saturday morning. It was gone. Initially, you could get 5 copies. Then Friday, they limited it to 2. Another book that was super hot was this. The Return of Wolverine. And this is through the Marvel booth and not through J. Scott Campbell's booth. He had his own variant there. But this here is the glow-in-the-dark variant. Limited to 2,000 copies. J. Scott Campbell. It's similar to, I believe San Diego's had the Ghost Rider. Glow-in-the-dark. Well, this is the Wolverine, which I'll take Wolverine over Cosmic Ghost Rider every day. Glow-in-the-dark. Limited to 2,000. So the story with this is that the first day of the con, these sold out. I didn't know this book existed until I was doing an eBay search and found it on eBay. And went on the hunt for it on Friday. When I got online on the Marvel booth first thing, they had no copies left. So a little bummed, but I'm not giving up. So Saturday I go back, and lo and behold, they had a shipment, and you could only get 2 copies per. So I picked up my 2 copies, and I had my son who was with me pick up 2 copies for me. So it was a successful trip. I was really, really happy. Sunday I stopped by, picked up a couple of copies, took care of a couple of friends of mine who always take care of me. So they got it at cost, you know. You can't beat that. And then another big highlight for me was this here. I was actually selected to get Brian Michael Bendis' autograph. A guy I've never met before, and I'm a big fan of, you know, his storytelling. I was able to get Bendis and David Mack to sign my Alias #1. David Mack being there for the con also, downstairs. Super nice guy. So I got this signed, Alias #1. And this was my project throughout the con. Usually I take one book where I try and get multiple signatures on it. So I had this really nice copy of Ultimate Fallout #4. Not a 9.8, well, hopefully a 9.4, 9.6. But this is signed by Clayton Crane, Sarah Pacelli, Brian Michael Bendis, and Mark Bagley. Bagley did the covers, Bendis is a story, Pacelli does the pencils, and Clayton Crane does the colors inside the interiors. And you know what I did? I did 2 of them. I did one in blue, I did one in gold. Really happy with both of those books there. Other than the variants and the exclusives that I picked up, really didn't get that many books. I went quality over quantity, and I did really well, I think. The moral of this story here right now, what I'm going to is build relationships with these dealers. Like, you know, I have a dealer who I go to. There's 2 or 3 of them. Dale Roberts being one that I go to all the time. This other dealer, I go to his booth every con. He's in the East Coast all the time. I always stop by and I buy a book from him because he's always fair. He's reasonable with me. He's dealt with Manny NYCC also, so we both kind of know him. We went to his booth. He didn't realize we were friends, and started talking with him. So I had a Catwoman 51 that came back from CGC, a 9.8. So I paid $50 for the book when I bought it, and I had about $30 invested into it after grading and return and everything else. And going rate on it was about $250, $260, and I was able to trade that for this. And this is a book with that black cover that is just super hard to get in high grade. You know, it's a 9.6. I probably will leave it like this and not crack it up. Difference between a 9.6 and a 9.8 is just tough on this book. But it was a straight up trade, and I was super happy to get that deal. Richard Rider, that, you know, as TiVo and those guys would say, Dick Rider, you know, a great Bronze Age book to have in the collection. I have a bunch of Raws, but they don't meet up to the standards of being in the high 9s. This being a 9.6, just, you know, just awesome. To get it for what it wound up costing me about 80 bucks. Great deal. Shopped a couple of more books around. Had a couple of bites. But, you know, like always, guys are trying to maximize their money on you. So, you know, they offered me a decent amount of money for a product, but then their books were overinflated. And that's the thing at the cons. You got to see, a lot of books were overinflated. I was going GPA, just basing it on eBay sales GPAs while I was there. And guys were raising the books $100 to $150 over GPA on some bigger keys. You know, and then, you know, when you point it out to them, they go, well, that's a hot book. Okay. You know, thank you very much. I'll talk to you later. But then I did have an ASM 361 First Carnage in a 9.2, and I had Uncanny X-Men 266 in a 9.6. So I was able to trade them, and I had to put up just a small amount of cash. I think it was like $50, and I picked up this really nice copy. Tales of Suspense 60. So early in the cap run there, which was really nice. Really nice and happy to get that. But the deal breaker on that was this, because this thing is about as fucking white as it gets. And that's that Iron Man Submariner one shot. This predates Iron Man #1, and it's just amazing. This cover, I mean, Manny NYCC couldn't believe how clean it is. The only thing it has is a small little impact up on top here. Other than that, this is, I mean, as sweet a book as it gets. Really, really nice, high grade copy. And happy to add this to the collection. You know, how many X-Men 266s and whatchamacallit, ASM 361s out there out in the world? But to see a clean copy like that one right here, like this copy right here, and to be able to trade up for that. So I think I totaled about $60 of spending out of my own pocket, and I got these three super sweet books. So that was my focus this year. That was the plan. I was going to try and minimize the spending on books and see if I could trade out some books that I have that I don't want and get books that I do want, you know. But that's my haul, you know, until next year's haul as far as New York Comic Con is concerned. But East Coast will come along and we'll have a couple of other cons. Had a great time. It was really nice meeting some YouTubers and Instagrammers out there that, you know, walked up and said hello. Spidey Fan, RKU Marv from Instagram, X-Illusionary from Instagram. It was just really cool. It was, and a couple of others. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting your names. It was just nice seeing everybody out there, meeting people for the first time. It was kind of humbling. It was really cool to think that guys, you know, doing this hobby like this, we'd get to see people and people recognize us just from our stupid videos. But if you like this video, please hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Leave a comment. I'll always answer your comments. Any questions, you know, if I can answer them, let me know. If you need any books pressed, you know, hit me up. I'll give you a price on your books, and I think I do a pretty good job out there. You know, you can ask other people around there. I'm pretty reputable. And watch the New York Warriors. You know, more and more content being put out there by the New York Warriors. Everybody's just upping their game this year. You know, making this channel better and better as we go along. But until my next video, peace.